Percy, why was this important in your life? Why was it important for you to be involved?
Well, I guess it was sort of doing something for Memphis and recognize, trying to bring something about that would uh, recognize Memphis's contribution to world music, because at that point I don't think it was very well. It was more for Memphians, because Memphians didn't know a lot about their musical heritage. I think people in other parts of the world knew more about Memphis music than Memphians did. So it was sort of as a Memphian, and I'm proud to be a Memphian. I'm back here, so obviously I like the town. It was sort of, I felt it was my way of giving back a little bit, of trying to get the people of Memphis to see their heritage and develop a sense of, I guess, civic pride. Well, it was just a group of people that wanted to do something, and nobody was a professional. We were all just citizens and just wanting to do something, and we managed to pull it off.
Friends more than
Yeah, it was friends. It was a bunch of friends, because we were all friends, and as a matter of fact, Mark Flanagan lived across the street. We were all friends and neighbors for the most part. And it sort of came together as an idea of a group of friends, and it's lived on for 34, 35 years. So it's, that's a pretty long time. The festival program I put together was to kind of as a souvenir. We didn't sell it. We didn't sell advertising in it. Again, our lack of knowledge of these things showed up in that. But we wanted to give something to commemorate people, and so I put together a little program of pictures of Memphis, photographs, and short articles about Memphis and about the musicians, and it had a nice cover and a nice slogan on the back with a list of all the artists and the schedule. So some of the photographs were quite interesting, of Boss Crump and also Furry Lewis in Japan. And the Memphis in May, the first Memphis in May, was a salute to Japan. And this was before Japan had opened any of the Japanese auto companies, opened up anything in Smyrna, Tennessee. So we could, well, Smyrna is the GM, but before Japan started opening automobile plants here in the States, so particularly in Tennessee. So, and I think rightfully so, that the first Memphis in May sort of opened the door for Tennessee in Japan, that ended up later with a automobile plant being built in Tennessee. The first one that they built out, I think the first one that the Japanese built outside of Japan was in Tennessee. And I think that this may have been kind of the door opener, because nobody was paying much attention to Japan at that, the big bringing over automobiles factories from Japan at that point. And so I think that may have been one of the things that opened the door for the Japanese trade in Tennessee.
There were big-time promoters, these guys who made lots of money in Memphis, bringing acts to the Coliseum and elsewhere. Did you ever consult them, or did they ever look on?
No, we didn't
interact at all.
None of our, well, see, the problem was that none of our the acts we had were the huge headliners at the time. B.B. King was probably the biggest name of the whole thing. Even though these were very good musicians, they weren't selling a lot of units of records at the time. So, and I don't think they ever sold a lot of units, but they were very good musicians. So the big promoters would not have been interested in something like this. Well, I think the thing when we actually got the police department to close 3rd Street, that was when we knew it was going to happen, because it was touch and go for a while there. The police were saying, no, you can't close this street. It's a highway. And they're like, yes, we can. And so we had to. There was a delay.
And you had all the acts booked and everything.
Yeah. But the cops were trying to.
Tell us about the pressure and what was.
Well, what happened was it came time to close the street so that we could get started with the stage, because the stage was going to be built in 3rd Street. Okay, by where Handy Park is, and we had to get fencing up, and as it turned out, we didn't need the fencing. But
Why is that?
well, because not enough, you know, there weren't enough people, so it wouldn't have made any difference anyway, and we might have saved the money on the cost of the fencing, and that might have covered that might have been as much as the gate was. I'm not sure. It wasn't a big gate. Well, I can't say this is true, but I think that it's come pretty close. That if we hadn't have done the fencing, might not have. This may be an exaggeration, but the fencing. Yeah, if we hadn't bought the fencing, we may have been better off just having it free based upon how much revenue came in. And the fencing was up strictly to produce the revenue, so people would have to go through and pay to be there.